Many rejoiced when the Berlin Wall came down. After 40 years, the Cold War was over. Communism had been defeated. American resolve had won the Cold War. Yet forgotten in the victory celebration was the fact that the first steps toward this triumph were taken by Americans 40 years ago in a far-off land few Americans had heard of, Korea. This is the story as told by the veterans themselves of the memorial being built to honor them. Their dedication to the cause of freedom, their valor, their courage as the first soldiers who sought to stop communist aggression. It was the summer of 1950. The military had been disarmed after winning World War II. And suddenly, the North Korean army swept across the 38th parallel into South Korea, capturing the capital and forcing the UN forces into a small zone called the Pusan Perimeter. Total victory for the North seemed only days away. America could have easily ignored the invasion, but it was not to be. It was not in the American character. Freedom was at stake, and the United States military would go to Korea. The United States led 20 other nations in support of South Korea to turn back this act of aggression. For these Americans who marched into combat, the decision was a simple one, for it sprang from a basic chord in the American character.
My dad never got over the fact he was fortunate enough to be born in this country, from Ireland. I mean, he was first generation Irish. And loved the United States as I loved the United States. My whole family does. I mean, so if it means, you know, you've got to go pay your dues, hey, you go pay your dues. I mean, that's it. You know?
Well, I'll never forget that Sunday, because I knew it was me this time. It was June 25th, and Harry Truman said, you know, here we go. All of a sudden, you're going off to another country. And of course, the next day, I got seasick. And I was seasick for 10 days, and that takes your mind off everything else. God, a lot of us got sick. Then you land, and you see troops who are going right in. That's very chilling. That's very chilling.
To fight to save another's freedom takes a special kind of courage. Death is just as real, just as final as if you were fighting for your own country. And the reasons for putting yourself in death's reach must be formidable enough to hold up under fire in the freezing rain of a barren place, day after day, and as it turned out, month after month, year after year.
I must have walked 600 miles in Korea. It was a foot soldiers' war, and climbing the hills. Up north, 5,000-foot pass through the mountains, for example. Temperatures ranging 30 below zero in the valley with, in the mountains, the winds, wind chill maybe 75 degrees below zero. These fine young American troops, faced with impossible odds, and weather that was beyond being bearable, continued their effort in my trek across the mountains to rescue Fox Company, 800 Marines slogging along. If you stopped, you'd freeze to death kind of an approach. Not one gripe, not one complaint out of them. They were embarked on a mission to rescue other Marines, all for one for all attitude that I think.
Fought for 38 months, but changed down to 19. Looks like 38 by reflecting, you know. It's faking, but it's maybe acceptable. But it's fascinating memorial. I never seen any memorial like this one.
It plays tricks on you. You walk down that wall, and you see the faces at certain lights tend to float. Then they're reflecting the statues into the wall, and then you see yourself in the wall. I mean, it's an awesome experience, it really is. To the Korean veteran, it'll mean remembering old friends. This one looks like Eddie. There's others in the wall, but that looks an awful lot like Eddie. Could be if you fill in. So my mind's eye fills in these blank spots. And so it does, to me, it looks an awful lot like Eddie. And when Eddie came back, and they brought his body back, his father died of a heart attack. They buried him together.
Freedom isn't free. And in order to be free, you have to be willing to sacrifice. And that the other story is that it takes more than a few people, unfortunately. It takes a lot of different people with a lot of different skills. That's why I'm so pleased with the representation of the women in the mural. Their numbers were not huge, but they were there. And they had something they brought that was special. It was knowledge.
It's just magnificent. I just like to call it a freedom memorial, because we had the freedom.
Please join hands, raise them above your heads, and say in unison, "This memorial is dedicated." Thank you.
American soldiers shown their patriotism, their care for their country, their care for that they would obey command of their country and risk their life, and many of them sacrificed their life.
Thank you and thank you. Your sacrifice was not in vain, and all progress we have in South Korea today and democracy, as well as millions of people from Korea enjoying freedom in the United States, all because of you guys' sacrifice. Thank you and thank you again.
O Almighty God, whose hand created the whole world, and whose spirit is all about, grant to them who served and abiding peace, a holy hope, and a blessed remembrance.
Let us all say, when darkness threatened, you kept the torch of liberty alight. You kept the flame burning so that others all across the world could share it. You showed the truth inscribed on the wall that freedom is not free. We honor you today because you did answer the call to defend a country you never knew and a people you never met. They're good people. It's a good country, and the world is better because of you. God bless you, and God bless America.